Hello, and welcome back to the Sleep Lab. Tonight we're going to drift through the quiet, private world of one of the most familiar creatures on Earth, and one of the strangest, a small, whiskered animal that has lived alongside humans for thousands of years while somehow, gently, remaining almost entirely its own. Cats sleep for most of their lives, watch us with eyes built for a kind of vision we can barely imagine, and carry inside their small, soft bodies an entire hidden history of biology, instinct, and quiet mystery most of us never pause to consider. Tonight we're going to move through 100 small, dreamy facts about them, one gentle detail after another, the kind of thing you might learn slowly, over a lifetime of sharing a home with one, if you had the patience to notice everything all at once. Nothing tonight needs to be remembered. Just let each fact settle for a moment, soft as a paw pressed lightly onto a blanket, and drift onward into the next. If this kind of journey is worth your time, a like, a subscribe, or a thought left below helps this small lab keep its lights on for other sleepy minds finding their way here. But for now, there is nothing you need to do except settle in, let your body grow heavy, and let 100 small, feline secrets curl up gently beside you instead. Let's begin. 1. The average cat sleeps between 12 and 16 hours a day. This means a 9-year-old cat has, in a very real sense, only been genuinely awake for about 3 of those years, the rest spent quietly, contentedly dreaming. 2. Kittens sleep even more than adult cats, sometimes as much as 20 hours a day. So much of their early growth and brain development quietly, invisibly happens during this deep, uninterrupted rest, each nap doing far more work than it appears to from the outside. 3. Cats are crepuscular, not nocturnal, meaning their bodies are naturally tuned to be most active at dawn and dusk. These are the very same soft, low-light hours their wild ancestors once hunted in, a rhythm still quietly running beneath every housecat's daily schedule. 4. A cat's whiskers are roughly as wide as its body, a built-in measuring tool that quietly helps it judge whether a gap or opening is genuinely safe to slip through. Trim them, and a cat can genuinely, if temporarily, lose some of its natural spatial confidence. 5. Whiskers aren't only found on a cat's face. Small, sensitive tufts also grow above the eyes, on the cheeks, and on the backs of the front legs, quietly extending a cat's sense of touch well beyond its nose. 6. A cat's purr typically vibrates at a frequency between 25 and 150 Hz, a range some researchers believe may genuinely help promote healing in bones and tissue. It is, quite possibly, one of nature's gentlest built-in recovery tools. 7. Cats don't only purr when content. Some purr quietly while injured, frightened, or even while dying, suggesting the sound may serve as a kind of gentle, physiological self-soothing rather than a simple, straightforward expression of happiness alone. 8. The exact mechanism behind a cat's purr is still not entirely, fully understood. It's believed to involve rapid, rhythmic movement of the muscles surrounding the voice box, a small, mysterious motor quietly humming somewhere deep within every purring cat. 9. A group of cats is technically called a clouder, a gentle, old word most people have never once had reason to use, tucked quietly away in dictionaries far more often than in ordinary conversation. 10. Cats have a genuinely unique writing reflex, allowing them to twist their flexible spine mid-fall and land on their feet. This reflex is developed by kittens as young as 3 to 4 weeks old, an instinct arriving almost before they've even learned to walk properly. 11. Despite the popular myth, cats do not always land safely from great heights. Veterinarians have found that falls from certain mid-range distances can actually be more dangerous than longer ones, since a cat needs enough time mid-fall to fully orient its body before landing. 12. A cat's collarbone is not attached to the rest of its skeleton the way ours is, floating instead gently within muscle. This is part of why cats can slip through impossibly narrow gaps that would stop almost any other animal their size. 13. If a cat's whiskers fit through a space, the rest of its body almost always will too, since the whiskers evolved specifically as a built-in gap measuring system, a quiet, reliable ruler carried on either side of its face. 14. Cats have a third eyelid, called the nictitating membrane, which usually stays hidden. It only becomes visible when a cat is unwell, sleepy, or very deeply relaxed, a quiet, gentle sign worth noticing during a truly restful nap. 15. A cat's eyes take up a much larger proportion of its skull than a human's do, part of why their gaze so often feels large, direct, and quietly unreadable, as though it were built specifically to hold your attention. 16. Cats can see in light roughly 6 times dimmer than what a human needs, a genuine advantage inherited from ancestors who hunted through the soft, quiet dark of dawn and dusk. 17. Despite excellent night vision, cats cannot see in complete, total darkness, and still rely on at least a small trace of ambient light to make sense of a room, even the faintest glow slipping gently beneath a door. 18. A cat's field of vision spans about 200 degrees, wider than a human's, though their color perception is considerably more muted, closer to a soft, gentle version of red-green colorblindness than to the vivid palette humans enjoy. 19. Cats have a genuinely extraordinary sense of smell, carrying roughly 200 million scent receptors compared to a human's mere 5 million, turning every room into a rich, layered landscape of information invisible to us. 20. Beyond an ordinary nose, cats have a second scent organ, called the Jacobson's organ, located in the roof of the mouth, used to taste certain scents more deeply than smell alone could ever manage. 21. When a cat opens its mouth slightly and seems to grimace after smelling something interesting, it's using this Jacobson's organ, a behavior called the Feline response, quietly drawing scent molecules directly across that hidden, secondary sense. 22. Cats cannot taste sweetness at all, missing the specific genetic receptor most mammals rely on. This means a cat's entire relationship with flavor is built around savory, meaty richness, rather than anything resembling a sweet tooth. 23. A cat's tongue is covered in tiny, backward-facing hooks called papillae, useful for both grooming and for scraping meat cleanly off a bone, a small, built-in comb hidden in plain sight. 24. Cats groom themselves for up to half of their waking hours, a habit that helps regulate body temperature, spread natural oils, and quietly, gently reduce stress, turning an ordinary bath into something genuinely calming. 25. A cat's rough tongue can remove loose fur so efficiently during grooming that swallowed hair sometimes forms the hairballs many cat owners are quietly, familiarly used to, a small, unglamorous side effect of such thorough self-care. 26. Cats have between 29 and 32 muscles in each individual ear, allowing them to rotate each one independently, almost like two small, separate satellite dishes quietly scanning the room. 27. A cat's hearing range extends up to about 64,000 Hz, considerably higher than a human's, allowing them to detect the high-pitched calls of small rodents hidden nearby, tucked away deep inside a wall or a garden. 28. Cats can rotate their ears roughly 180 degrees, allowing them to pinpoint the exact direction of a sound without ever needing to turn their head at all, a quiet, efficient trick of built-in precision. 29. A cat's normal body temperature runs slightly warmer than a human's, typically between 100 and 102.5 degrees Fahrenheit, which is part of why they seek out the very warmest corner of any room so reliably. 30. We've reached the first third of tonight's list. Somewhere, quietly, right now, a cat is almost certainly curled into a warm, careful circle, fast asleep, entirely unaware of the small, gentle story we're telling about it. 31. A domestic cat's heart beats considerably faster than a human's, typically between 140 and 220 beats per minute at rest, a small, urgent rhythm hidden beneath such an outwardly calm exterior. 32. Cats have retractable claws, sheet gently when not needed, both to keep them sharp for hunting and to allow silent, careful movement across the ground, padding through a room almost entirely without sound. 33. Most cats have 18 claws in total, 5 on each front paw and 4 on each back paw, though polydactyl cats can be born with several extra, tucked quietly into an unusually wide, generous paw. 34. Polydactyl cats, sometimes nicknamed Hemingway cats after the famous author's fondness for them, can occasionally have as many as 7 or 8 toes on a single paw, giving their paws a genuinely distinctive, mitten-like shape. 35. A cat's whisker pads and paw pads both contain highly sensitive nerve endings, making even gentle, unexpected touch there something many cats quietly, genuinely dislike, no matter how affectionately it's intended. 36. Cats walk on their toes, a posture called digitigrade locomotion, the very same quiet, careful gait shared by dogs, horses, and many other naturally fast-moving animals built for both speed and silence. 37. A cat's spine contains around 30 more vertebrae than a human's, giving it the extraordinary flexibility needed to twist, arch, and curl so effortlessly into shapes that would seem impossible for almost any other creature. 38. Cats cannot move their jaw sideways the way humans can, since their jaw is built almost entirely for a simple, efficient up and down bite, precise and economical rather than broadly versatile. 39. A house cat can reach speeds of up to 30 miles per hour in a short sprint, faster than most people could ever hope to run, even across a distance as short as a single hallway. 40. Despite their speed, cats are not built for long-distance chasing, relying instead on stealth, patience, and a single, sudden, well-timed burst of energy, a hunter built for precision rather than endurance. 41. A cat's average resting heart rate slows considerably during deep sleep, and their whiskers, ears, and even paws can be seen twitching gently during particularly vivid dream cycles, a quiet performance most owners have caught at least once. 42. Cats do appear to dream, based on brain activity patterns closely resembling those seen in dreaming humans, particularly during the lighter, twitchier phases of their long, unhurried daily sleep. 43. A cat kneading softly with its front paws, sometimes called making biscuits, is believed to be a leftover kitten behavior, originally used to stimulate milk while nursing, carried gently forward into adulthood as a sign of comfort. 44. Kittens are born blind and deaf, opening their eyes for the first time gently around 7 to 10 days after birth, arriving into the world through touch and warmth long before sight ever enters the picture. 45. A newborn kitten cannot regulate its own body temperature and depends entirely on its mother's warmth for the first several weeks of its quiet, fragile life, curled close against her side. 46. Female cats can begin reproducing remarkably early, sometimes as young as 4 months old, part of why unspayed cat populations can grow so quickly, a detail veterinarians often gently emphasize to new owners. 47. A cat's gestation period lasts roughly 63 to 65 days, considerably shorter than a human pregnancy, meaning an entire litter can arrive and grow within just a couple of quiet, quick months. 48. The oldest cat ever verified, a Texas cat named Cream Puff, lived to the remarkable age of 38 years old, a lifespan considerably longer than most dogs ever reach at all. 49. Indoor cats typically live considerably longer than outdoor cats, often reaching 15 years or more, protected gently from many of the risks the outside world quietly, invisibly holds. 50. Halfway through tonight's 100 facts. Somewhere, right now, a cat is stretching slowly, unhurried, exactly the way only a cat seems to know how, arching its back into a long, careful curve. 51. A cat stretch, often performed right after waking, helps flush lactic acid from resting muscles and gently prepare the body for sudden movement, a small, private ritual repeated many times throughout each day. 52. Cats have scent glands located on their cheeks, forehead, and the base of their tail, which is part of why a cat rubbing against you is quietly, deliberately marking you as familiar, folding you gently into its own small world. 53. A slow blink from a cat is often described by behaviorists as something close to a small, gentle kiss, a quiet, trusting signal of comfort and safety offered only to those it genuinely feels at ease around. 54. Cats can make more than 100 different vocal sounds, considerably more than the roughly 10 sounds most dogs typically use, a surprisingly wide, expressive vocabulary hiding behind such a small, quiet animal. 55. Adult cats rarely meow at one another. The sound is believed to have evolved largely as a way of communicating specifically, quietly, with humans instead, a language shaped gently around us rather than their own kind. 56. A cat's tail carries an enormous range of emotional expression, from the gentle question mark curl of curiosity to the sharp, low lash of genuine irritation, an entire silent vocabulary written in motion. 57. Cats use their tails for balance as much as communication, helping them walk gracefully along narrow ledges, fences, and railings, a quiet counterweight steadying every careful step. 58. Some cat breeds are naturally born with short or entirely absent tails, including the Manx, the result of a genuine, naturally occurring genetic mutation passed gently down through generations. 59. A cat rubbing its head against furniture, doorways, or a person's leg is called bunting, a gentle behavior used to spread its own familiar scent, quietly marking its territory as safe and known. 60. Cats have scent-marked human civilization for so long that some researchers believe they essentially, quietly domesticated themselves, drawn toward the rodents gathering near early human grain stores thousands of years ago. 61. The domestication of cats is believed to have begun roughly 10,000 years ago in the Near East, considerably more recently than the domestication of dogs, a comparatively gentle, gradual, mutual arrangement. 62. Ancient Egyptians revered cats so deeply that harming one, even accidentally, could carry severe legal or social consequences, a level of reverence few animals throughout history have ever quite matched. 63. Mummified cats have been discovered in ancient Egyptian tombs, buried carefully alongside their owners, presumed companions even into the afterlife, carried gently forward into whatever came next. 64. The word cat traces its roots through Old English, Latin, and further back still, appearing in remarkably similar forms across many unrelated, ancient languages, as though the sound itself simply, naturally fit. 65. There are more than 70 recognized domestic cat breeds today, though the vast majority of cats worldwide remain simply, quietly mixed breed, each one entirely, genuinely its own. 66. The Maine Coon, one of the largest domestic breeds, can weigh up to 25 pounds, with a thick, weather-resistant coat suited to genuinely cold climates and long, quiet winters. 67. The SPHYNX cat, despite its hairless appearance, is not entirely bald, but covered in a fine, nearly invisible layer of soft, downy fuzz, warm to the touch in a way its bare look never quite suggests. 68. Siamese cats are born entirely white, with their signature darker points developing gradually over the first few weeks, influenced by a temperature-sensitive gene reacting quietly to the coolest parts of their body. 69. A cat's coat pattern and color are determined by a complex combination of genetics, and calico cats are almost always female, due to how those particular genes are inherited across two X chromosomes. 70. Male calico cats do occasionally exist, though the genetic condition responsible is exceedingly rare, and such cats are frequently, though not always, unable to reproduce, a quiet genetic curiosity all its own. 71. Cats have a genuinely unique way of drinking water, curling the tip of their tongue backward and drawing liquid upward in a fast, gentle column rather than lapping directly, too quick for the human eye to fully catch. 72. Domestic cats are believed to have descended primarily from the African wildcat, a small, quiet desert-dwelling species still found in parts of the Middle East and Africa today, largely unchanged across thousands of years. 73. Big cats, including lions and tigers, share a genuine biological kinship with the small house cat curled beside you, though separated by millions of years of gradual, patient evolution. 74. Unlike big cats, most domestic cats cannot roar, since roaring depends on a specific, flexible structure in the throat that house cats simply never evolved, offering instead their own quieter, gentler range of sound. 75. Cats are obligate carnivores, meaning their bodies genuinely require nutrients found only in meat, unlike dogs, whose digestive systems are considerably more flexible and forgiving. 76. A cat's digestive system is relatively short and efficient, well suited to quickly processing small, frequent meals rather than a single large one, echoing the hunting rhythm of its wild ancestors. 77. Cats in the wild typically eat many small meals throughout a full day and night, a pattern many indoor cats still quietly, instinctively prefer, however regular their feeding schedule at home. 78. A cat's whiskers are so sensitive they can detect subtle changes in air currents, helping them navigate confidently even in complete darkness, feeling the shape of a room before ever fully seeing it. 79. Cats have a genuinely excellent memory for certain things, particularly locations tied to food, safety, or the routines of the humans they live alongside, quietly tracking patterns most owners never notice they've learned. 80. Some research suggests cats may form a kind of gentle emotional attachment to their owners similar in structure to the attachment human infants form with a parent, a bond considerably deeper than old stereotypes about feline independence often suggest. 81. A cat's brain is proportionally smaller than a dog's, yet it contains a comparably dense, sophisticated network of neurons packed into its own compact, quiet skull, small but genuinely capable. 82. Cats are capable of complex problem solving, and studies have found they can learn to operate simple mechanisms, including door handles and latch mechanisms, through patient trial and error. 83. A cat's sense of balance depends heavily on its inner ear, allowing the extraordinary precision behind its famous mid-air twisting reflex, a quiet, built-in gyroscope guiding every fall. 84. Cats communicate a great deal through subtle body posture, and even the position of their ears alone can reveal genuine shifts in mood within a single quiet moment, long before any sound is made. 85. A relaxed, forward-facing ear generally signals calm interest, while ears pinned flat against the head usually signal fear or genuine irritation, a small, silent warning worth learning to read. 86. Cats often bring gifts, including small prey items, to their owners, a behavior some researchers believe stems from instinctive, quiet teaching or provisioning behavior seen in mother cats caring for their young. 87. A cat's tail held straight up, often with a gentle curl at the very tip, is generally considered one of the clearest signs of a happy, confident greeting, a small flag raised in genuine welcome. 88. Cats are territorial animals by nature, and even affectionate housecats maintain a quiet, invisible sense of personal space and boundary within their own home, mapped carefully in scent rather than lines. 89. Multi-cat households often develop a subtle, layered social hierarchy, though it tends to be considerably more fluid and situational than the hierarchies seen among dogs, shifting gently depending on the moment. 90. A cat rubbing gently against another cat, called alla-rubbing, is a sign of genuine social bonding, exchanging familiar scent between trusted companions, a quiet handshake shared entirely in fur and warmth. 91. Cats can jump roughly 6 times their own body length in a single bound, powered by remarkably strong, coiled hind leg muscles, launching effortlessly from a still, seated crouch. 92. A cat's collarbone-free shoulder structure not only helps it squeeze through gaps but also allows an unusually long, fluid stride while running, gathering and releasing its whole body like a single, smooth spring. 93. Cats can rotate their back paws almost 180 degrees, which is part of what makes them such capable, confident tree climbers, gripping bark from nearly any angle at all. 94. Descending a tree is considerably harder for a cat than climbing one, since a cat's claws curve in a direction better suited for climbing upward than gripping while heading back down, which is why so many end up needing quiet, gentle rescue. 95. Cats are believed to be able to recognize their own name, based on studies measuring their subtle response, even if they don't always choose to respond outwardly, a small, private acknowledgement kept mostly to themselves. 96. A cat's purr may have evolved partly as a subtle survival tool, quiet and low enough to avoid drawing the attention of predators while still offering genuine comfort to both mother and kitten. 97. Cats spend a portion of their sleep in light, easily interrupted rest, and only a smaller portion in the deep, fully relaxed sleep associated with genuine dreaming, alert even while appearing entirely at ease. 98. Despite popular imagination, black cats are not universally considered unlucky, and in several cultures throughout history, including parts of the United Kingdom and Japan, they were instead considered a genuine, quiet symbol of good fortune. 99. A cat curled tightly into a ball while sleeping is instinctively conserving body heat, a gentle, ancient posture inherited from ancestors who once slept exposed to a genuinely colder, harsher world. 100. And perhaps the softest secret of all is simply this, that somewhere tonight, a small, warm animal, closer to its wild ancestors than most people ever stop to consider, has chosen, quietly, gently, to sleep curled beside a human instead of alone. We have reached the end of tonight's 100 small, feline secrets, each one a quiet thread pulled gently from an animal so familiar we sometimes forget how strange, how ancient, and how quietly wild it truly still is underneath. We touched Whiskers built for measuring gaps and eyes built for catching the last light of dusk, purrs that may heal and tails that speak an entire silent language of their own. We remembered kittens born blind into total darkness and cats mummified beside pharaohs thousands of years ago, the same small, watchful creature connecting every single one of those quiet centuries together. There is something gently worth carrying from a list built entirely from something so ordinary and so close to home, a reminder that mystery doesn't require distance, that an entire hidden world can curl up quietly on the corner of your own bed each night, and still remain, in its own soft way, genuinely, endlessly worth wondering about. If tonight's 100 secrets were worth your time, a like, a subscribe, or a thought left below helps the Sleep Lab stay open for the next curious, sleepy mind who finds their way here. And if you're still awake, there's another story waiting just beyond this one, whenever you're ready for it. But for now, let these 100 small truths curl up quietly beside you, the way a cat settles into its own favorite corner of a room, without hurry, without needing anyone's permission, exactly where it feels safest and most at ease. Let your body grow heavy. Let your breathing slow. Sleep well. And good night.